Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the 2024 Living Legend recipient, Ryne Sandberg.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I have nothing left to say. Could have left me a little tidbit there, but well done. You know what? It's been a pleasant day here, and I appreciate the staff at Louisville Slugger, my friends up front here, and what a treat. But first of all, before I forget, because I've been to dinners and I forgot this, but I'm a game of adjustments type of a guy, and I learn from errors. In the front row, I want to introduce my wife, Margaret. Please stand. I forgot to do that in the past, and I had many regrets. And I couldn't wait till the next dinner to do it, and I forgot again, and more regrets. So I got that out of the way. At 65 years old, I learned how to do that. Also got my daughter and Lindsay and her family from Westfield, Indiana that drove over. Glad to have them. 3 grandsons. When we're all together, there's 22 of us, so it's a big crowd, but glad that you guys could make it here. Anyway, you know what? I've had a year to think about a lot of things, and what I've gone through. 2 words come to mind: thankful and blessed. And thinking back to playing in the front yard with my brother and being Willie Stargell and Pete Rose and the Big Red Machine and playing against the Dodgers. It was just me and my brother playing, but we were those guys. And I did the stances, and we played with a old Louisville Slugger bat that was not a real game bat of a major league player, but more of a youth style of bat. Pretty old looking. We might have got it at the Goodwill, I don't know. But it had the signature of, it was a bat of Kolya Skremski. But from, I'd say, 7 years old to 12, we played every day with a solid plastic golf ball, which was very difficult to hit. You could do a lot of things with a solid plastic golf ball. And playing with my brother, older of 6 years, I just played summers playing out there. And I'd actually be out there before him, and I'd mow the grass as the ground crew and get that all tidied up. But we had a home plate in front of home plate, and then we had 3 tiers of stairs going up on a double tier front yard. So we're pitching uphill, but the number of foul balls we had back and breaking the glass door window, I was going to say could not wait for my dad to get home, because my mom would say when that happened, "Well, wait till your dad gets home." So sweating it a little bit there, but to be those players and emulate those players, those number of hours. And I mentioned Pete Rose, who I watched the Saturday game of the week. A lot of the youngsters here, there was the Cubs on in the afternoon, there was the Braves at night, and then the Saturday games of the week. In Spokane, we didn't have the cable, so all I had was the Saturday game of the week. And so the Big Red Machine and Pete Rose, I did his stance up there, batted left-handed in a crouch. And had my at-bats like that against my brother. Well, talk about being blessed and being thankful. We talked about being a September call-up after my AAA season. And I walked in, and actually, let me back up a little bit. After my AA season, I'm invited to Clearwater Beach, Florida to a big league camp, spring training. My agent calls and said, "Whatever you do, don't be late." Now, they had just won the World Series the year before. Pete Rose, Manny Trio, Larry Boa, Mike Schmidt, Bob Boone, Steve Carlton, Tug McGraw, Bake McBride, Greg Lazinski, and Gary Maddox. Basically an all-star at every position. And now the very next spring training, I'm going to big league camp as a 20-year-old. My agent said, "Don't be late." Well, it was dark when I got to there, and I think I was just after the janitor that opened up the fence to let everybody in. So the two of us were there, pitch black. I go into the locker room, which was like a trailer back then, and I walked through there, and I just turned the lights on, and I walk. Wow, Mike Schmidt's locker, nothing in it, but I just stood there and looked at it. The next one, Larry Boa. As a minor league player, I was a shortstop. He was the heir apparent ahead of me. I was going to take his job, I thought. I looked at his locker. Steve Carlton's locker, I looked at his. The next one I looked at, Pete Rose. I stood there and just froze up and just stared at that for an extra period of time. Still nothing in there, nothing to look at but his nameplate. I go to the next one, it's my locker. So here I go from a kid emulating Pete Rose as a kid, and now he's towards the end of his career, headed to the all-time hit king, and here I am going to be locker partners with Pete Rose for the time that I'm there. I happened to be there for about 14, 15 days. The whole time I was there, surrounded by them as idols of mine of being on TV, and now I'm in the same locker with them. My respect for the game was to keep my mouth shut and keep my eyes and ears open. I might learn something pretty good. That's what I did, and that was an adage of my father as growing up. So that's what I did, and I watched Pete Rose on a daily basis. I actually watched him take batting practice in a cage that had a grass bottom on it. Here is I'd say for 10 minutes, every ball he hit the net, the side of the net, the back of the net, this side of the net, using the whole field. And I swear, out of 100 balls, maybe 2 hit the grass. And I just looked at his focus and concentration, and I said, oh, wow, that's what it takes. Do I have the ability to do that? I don't know, but I'm going to try. So then the next year, after my AAA season, after another big league camp, at the end of the season, I had a good AAA season. I won the Gold Glove of the association at AAA, my first award like that. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Might be the only thing I might ever win in professional baseball. I didn't know. There's no guarantees. And then I'm a September call-up. As they expand the rosters in September, they bring up some minor league guys, maybe some prospects, and they stay for the month of September and join the club. Well, that's when I had my 13 at-bats. I actually started the second game of a doubleheader at Wrigley Field. Before the game started, I went up to Larry Boa, who I felt comfortable talking to because for the 2 spring trainings, I'd go out and stand behind him about 20 feet back as the shortstop. And in batting practice, you got to get your ground balls in. But I'd always had so much respect for him. I'd stand behind him and just watch. And then finally, when he was done, and they called me Sandy back then, by the way. Hey, Sandy, do you want to get some grounders? Oh, sure. I got a uniform, Mom, and I'm acting like I shouldn't even be out there. Sure, yeah, get some ground balls. He goes, I'm done. Oh, okay. So now my point was, now we're at Wrigley Field, and Dallas Green comes up to me and says, hey, Sandy, you're going to start the second game of a doubleheader at Wrigley. Bo's going to have the second game off. So before the game, I go up to Larry. I said, Larry, you're getting that second game off. And this is the old times now, not in today's world. I said, Bo, my bats haven't arrived yet. So here I am in the big leagues, a September call-up. I have no bats. Now in today's game, if you're a September call-up, you have 12 dozen bats there waiting for you. But I guess mine was on, I don't know, on a covered wagon, or I have no idea. I have no bats. He said, Sandy, just pick out a bat. So with the respect of Larry Boa, I go, he's got 6 bats in there. I could tell, I knew which ones were good because they're a little bit wider grain. Wider grain back then meant a little bit harder bats. So I went and took the one with the most grains, the worst bat of the bunch. For the respect of him, I picked that bat. Larry, is this okay? I asked if it's okay. Is this okay? Yeah, take that bat. So I started the second game. I got my first base hit off of Mike Krukow, a base hit to right field. And after and then they throw the ball out, traditional throw the ball out. So I have the ball. So after the game, I'm sitting in my locker. Wow, got my first hit. Now I'm looking at the ball, and half of the ink of the logo on there, half of the ink is gone. I said, wow, that's kind of strange. A few minutes later, I pick up the bat. Wow, I got my first hit. I look at the end of the bat. The ink had come off on the bat. So I still today, on my mantle, have that Larry Boa bat, the Louisville Slugger. It's a kind that doesn't have a knob on it. But I got my first hit. I got the ball right next to it with the ink off of the ball, and it's on the bat. Two pretty good keepsakes. From that point, that winter, I went to Venezuela, where I went and played another. By the way, after my AA season and AAA season, where I had pretty good years, I went to Venezuela and played down there winter ball. And if you're going down there, invited to play down there, you were making more money than you did at AA, AAA in the States. And also you were looked at as a prospect. So I went down there for 2 years after playing full seasons of AA and AAA and was a bench warmer. I didn't start. Manny Trio played for Venezuela, Zulia team that I was on, and Todd Cruz, who was a starting shortstop for Kansas City Royals, was from there. He was a shortstop. So here I'm on a winter ball team where I'm not even in the lineup. But once a week, Manny Trio would take the day off, and he'd go to Aruba for the day, and I'd get a spot start, and so I played. So what I did with my pre-games, I took ground balls at second base, at short, and at third. I don't know why I took balls at second and short. At second and third, I was a shortstop. But that's what I did for 60 days, 2.5 months. I did that. And so while I was down there the second year, the winter of '81, I was thankful and blessed to be put in a trade with Larry Boa, which was shocking. He was a shortstop. I was a shortstop. But I was traded to the Chicago Cubs, and I went to spring training, and I hit about 485 that spring, and now they're trying to find a position for me. I ended up with 3 different types of gloves by the end of spring training. They tried me in center field, middle and second base, and shortstop glove, and then my third base glove, 3 gloves. There was one Major League spring training game where I played 3 innings at each of those positions and still was trying to hit, but I hit really well, so I made the team, and I was the starting third baseman in 1982 for the Chicago Cubs. Played 5 months there, and then I was thankful and blessed. The Dallas Green called me in September 1st and said, Ryne, we want you to move to second base. I think I'd only made about 7 errors at third base, and some of the talk was that I would win a Gold Glove at third base. Now he calls me in with Lee Elia and says, we're going to move you to second base. I said, all right, that's great. I have the whole winter to work on it, and maybe me and Larry will go down early to spring training, and we can get some balls and ground balls, learn the double play from the second base position. He says, no, I want you to start at second base tonight in San Diego against the Padres. I said, you got to be kidding me. Well, what a move that was. Very next year, won my first Gold Glove in 1983. 84, and had a good year. 84 comes along, and with the Louisville Slugger bat, the B267 with Larry Boa suggested I go to this bat with a knob. This could be a picture from that year. Look how small my arms are as a young kid like that. I filled out a little bit bigger in 89 and 90 when I was hitting 30 or 40 home runs, but I could fly back then. But he suggested a bat where I could get down on the knob and I get some good whip on it, so I using that bat, 256B, and there was one black bat that he gave me that's on a couple of my baseball cards, and I look at that and I remember I was hot with that bat for about 3 or 4 weeks and just red hot. This thing was just a battler, and I was hot with it. All of a sudden, before the game, I saw one little crack on it, real tiny crack. So I took a little black nail and hammered it in there to make it last a little longer. It lasted a little longer. I don't even know how many weeks it lasted. Now here we are in Philadelphia, and Tug McGraw throws me an inside cut fastball. I take a swing at it. He saws me off. I got the handle left in my hands, and the rest of the bat goes flying over the third base dugout, flying over their helicopter. And I said, "Oh, I broke my bat." Then I'm thinking, I look down. Oh no, the nail is still in that bat. They're gonna say, "What's up with this? The nail in there." Anyway. Had good success with that, and 84 season was on to my MVP year, where June 23rd against the Cardinals, that was a game that turned everything around. I think a lot of Cubs baseball, WGN became hot. We took over first place for the first time. Harry Carey and Steve Stone were rock and rolling at the day baseball and luring everybody in. And now I go to start my first All-Star game in San Francisco, representing the Cubs. Here's another story. There's a lot of a lot of things popped in my mind, but my first All-Star game in Candlestick, we're in first place, representing the Cubs, 24 years old. And in Candlestick, the locker room's down the right field corner, all the way down the corner, so you have to walk all the way down the whole baseline to get to the home plate. I took about 10 steps out of the locker room, and the bat boy from the American League comes running up to me. "Hey, Mr. Sandberg, George Brett is behind home plate. You're his favorite player." And I'm thinking to myself, what? I mean, he's trying to hit 400 over there. I've been watching him on TV. I'm his favorite player. I get down there, "Hey, it's nice to meet you." And then at this point, starting in 82, Harry Carey dubbed me as Rhino, which I appreciated very much because it was Ryne with an O at the end of it. Before that, a lot of people mispronounced my name as Ryan. And so now it was Ryne O, so that worked very well. So George Brett, "Rhino, hey, great to meet you." The first time I ever met him. "Can I have a picture with?" "Yeah, are you kidding me? Can I have my picture with you?" So he took the picture. First All-Star game, I have the 8x10. He has it. We both signed it. Talk about being blessed and thankful. I mean, unbelievable. But 84, now after the All-Star game, we come back, and now Wrigley Field sold out for the rest of the year. Now we get, 1st of August, sellout crowd. We were told that every game sold out. Now we see fans across the street. There's two guys up on the rooftop across the street. And before the game, we take the field, we say, and look from the dugout, "Look at those two guys across the street. They're on top of the roof. They're watching the game." How cool is that? We win that game. The next day, there's 8 guys up there across the street. Now game 3, there's folding chairs and there's smoke coming up from the barbecue, and there's a dozen people up there. That was the start of the bleach across the street, which they have now, which is the Wrigley, the Ricketts own. And I don't know if you all have been there and seen that. It's like part of the stadium. It's unbelievable. I saw that happen in '84. So as the whole year went on, my first taste of winning baseball at that level came up 1 game short in the 5-game series. You know, in today's game, there's series after series, and a lot of times the best team wins, and the pitching staff, we had the whole thing going for us, and just lost at the Padres Park 3 games in a row. 1 home game was taken away from us because we didn't have lights yet. Dallas Green, after we lost, was up in arms. "We got to have lights at Wrigley Field." Now the neighborhood's fighting Dallas Green. "Why do we need lights?" And this goes on for a few years. Now 88, we get lights. Now we're back to the playoffs in '89 with Don Zimmer. The Zim is manager, and but thankful and blessed for all the teammates that I had in '84. In '89, myself, Scott Sanderson, Rick Sutcliffe were 3 holdovers from the '84 team. In '84, I was the youngest player on the team. Now I'm more of a veteran guy, a leader guy in '89. Now we got young guys like the Greg Maddoxes, Mark Grace, Joe Girardi, Jerome Walton, Dwight Smith, Mike Bielecki, all these young guys. and we're surrounded by these guys. Had a ball with the young guys, and now went back to the playoffs. Very thankful for that. And then just thinking post-career, had a Ryne Sandberg day at Wrigley Field, which was terrific. 2005 Hall of Fame. August of 2005, retired my jersey. Last year, statue goes up, and now here him, Louisville Slugger Award. How good is that? So this year, with a lot of reflection, starting last December with my diagnosis, my hard work, dedication, focus, a good team, a good teammate and team captain, and my wife Margaret, our family. All of our neighbors, our friends. One of the smartest things I did was to, 48 hours after my diagnosis, the whole family was together, and I said, you know what? I'm on Instagram, and I've been on Instagram. I think I need to let everybody know what's going on. So 48 hours later, I put it out there, in a letter form to all baseball fans, to anybody that wants to know, to all friends, family, relatives. This is what's going on. One of the best things I did, because the response that I got back, and the reason I wanted to do that was, first of all, I wasn't going to stay home. I wanted to be out and about. I wanted to be on my feet. I don't want to be laying on the couch, in bed, none of that stuff. That's not who I am. I wanted to be out and about, in the yard. Neighbors would see me. And then the Cubs asked me to throw out the first pitch of opening day. That went on the calendar, circled real big as a goal. And I'm a kind of a goal-oriented guy. That was a goal. And so that was in April. So this was in January, March, April. I missed spring training, so I had 4 months to get ready for that first pitch. So opening day came. But back to the Instagram, the comments that I got back from Cubs fans, but baseball fans, Cardinal fans and Mets fans, believe it or not. I'm a Mets fan, but you know what? You're one of my favorite players. He finally admitted it, you know. Cardinal fans, I'm a huge Cardinal fan. Never pulled for you during the Cubs-Cardinal games, but you know what? I'm pulling for you, and you're one of my favorite players. Those types of comments and all these things, the backing that I got from the baseball fans and just people across the country, it was still going on, was constant. So thankful and blessed for that. And then I was saying, first pitch. One of my symptoms is short-term memory. Honestly. So I need little tips like that every now and then. If I ever hesitate, just yell out where I was going. Appreciate that. First pitch. So here I am with a Cubs hat, got the whole thing working, got my my BP jersey, which is the mesh. It just has a 23 on the back. It's a mesh batting practice jersey that we wore in the 80s, 84 year. No name on the back, very important to me. Name on the front's more important than the name on the back. So every first pitch I do is in that jersey. Now that jersey, the last 20 years is going off the charts. They can't keep them in stock at Wrigley Field because they like that jersey. The fans do. That's my favorite one for that reason. So here I am with the first pitch. Got that jersey on. Got the hat down low. They don't see that I don't have any hair. I couldn't feel my feet touch the grass. Neuropathy, and I had about 20% feeling in my hands. And to top it all off, double vision. And here I'm going to throw the first pitch. Went out there. Oh, no. I looked into the catcher. Oh, no. And then I closed one eye, and I just threw the ball right on line. It was a one-hop bounce, as if it was a relay throw into home plate. I was thankful for that. That could have been ugly. But you know what? From that point on, being at Wrigley Field for opening day, they showed me on the big screen and Margaret on the big screen, not only for that, but during the game, and the whole place stood up once again. So then we continued to go to Wrigley Field and the games all the way through the summertime. Each time they do a Legends of the Game up there with Billy Williams, Ron Santo, Fergie Jenkins, Andre Dawson. Legends of the Game in the fifth inning, they'll show that. Every time that I'm going to be at the game, a special time. I go to a lot of games, but they pick out certain games and they'll put me up there. And then after the clip, then they show us in the stands. The whole place stands up and goes crazy. You talk about medicine. That's the best medicine that I can even. So I leave Wrigley Field. And I'm good. Honestly, unbelievable. And so very thankful and blessed for that. And so now going forward, it's something that I have to manage this and stay after it. Modern medicine, unbelievable. My other message on Instagram was early detection. 50 years and older, 45 and years older men. Early detection is the only way to go because medicine will help us. So that's my other message out there. Anyway, we have some other things to do here. We have 2 chairs here waiting. I might be using up all the time here. But very blessed and thankful to be here tonight. Love all the Cubs gear in here. How many of you are truly Reds fans, but you wore Cubs gear tonight? Not one? Boo! I like it. I like it. How many Cardinal fans are here tonight? Boo! Last but more importantly, how many Mets fans are here? Boo! All right. How many baseball fans are here? Yeah, there we go. Well, I appreciate the award, truly. And I have my Hall of Fame ring on here, and here's a living legend, Louisville Slugger. I'll wear this proudly as I go forward. I'll show it off to everybody. Thank you very much.